New Forrester research indicates that 90% of business and IT leaders will move more systems of record, insight, and engagement to the cloud in the next 2 years. Though data security is very important to them, leaders choose engaging with customers as their paramount focus in making the move. Yet the lack of the expertise in deploying, maintaining, and iterating a cloud at scale currently causes a delay in executing this business priority. That said, in today's webinar, our experts will discuss these topics. Additionally, our Forrester expert will elaborate in detail on these and other research results. So with that, I'd like to introduce our experts, Jeff Brent and John Rymer. Jeff Brent is a program director in IBM Bluemix Offering Management. He is responsible for establishing the Cloud Everywhere vision for IBM Bluemix. He's held many roles during his career, including Senior Consultant, BPM SWAT Lead, and Technical Offering Management. John Rymer is Vice President and Principal Analyst at Forrester. In his role, he serves application development and delivery professionals, leading Forrester's application development and delivery coverage of cloud platforms. He's a leading expert on enterprise middleware and the authority on enterprise strategies of IBM, Microsoft, Oracle. He also contributes to Forrester's coverage of low-code application platforms and business rule platforms. And he has worked as an industry analyst for more than 20 years. And with that, I'd like to turn our presentation over to John to get started. John?
Thank you very much. Good day, everyone. Great to be with you to talk about this very interesting survey that we've conducted. Let me just get to the first slide here. So there we go. Okay. I've been covering cloud
Every IT team
adoption,
wants
cloud
access to the
platforms
modern
in the
technologies
enterprise
available in cloud
for
development.
5-6 years at
But
this
operating
at this
an
point.
on-premises cloud platform can be a huge investment in personnel,
lately,
technology, and additional
anecdotally, we've
overhead,
been seeing
all
a
before you get
distinct
started
shift
on your first app.
in
But what if you
the
didn't have to do it
adoption of
yourself?
cloud, an acceleration
What if
in
you
the
could have a
adoption
private
of
cloud
cloud,
platform
and
delivered as a
people
service?
having much greater ambitions for their
Bluemix
use
Local
of
is a true cloud platform
particularly
built on
public
open
cloud.
source, operated in
And the
collaboration.
survey that I'm gonna discuss with you today puts some meat on those bones with some real scientifically relevant data here, valid data here, that shows that yes, we are in fact moving past the initial adoption phase of cloud and going into the second wave of adoption that's going to be quite a bit broader and involve a lot more of the IT estate than the first wave did. So let's jump right into the survey. First, the survey shows us, I think, that we're entering a second wave. Let's talk about a little bit about the basics on the survey. The survey was an online survey that we conducted for IBM, and we got the responses of 200 respondents who work in IT. They're either CIOs or VPs of IT or VPs of app dev, significant roles in IT, and some directors as well. And we got a mix of folks that are concerned about, high-level IT strategy, applications, and infrastructure, in this base of 200. And the respondents represent the U.S., the UK, Germany, France, and 40 respondents are from Latin America. So it's a good, solid read on major markets, major geographic markets as well. So the public cloud, is really, when people say cloud, that's really what they think of first. The public cloud really became available in 2006, and we saw adoption start around that time, obviously, and progress and make put companies like Amazon Web Services on the map. And that progression took place through the recession, culminating about 2010, 2011. By the time we could say, yeah, public cloud is really here, and it's really accepted now as an environment and a strategy. The next wave is going to just blow the doors off that adoption. There's going to be so much more utilization of public cloud, and it's going to stimulate other views of cloud: private cloud, hybrid cloud, managed clouds. There's just going to be an explosion of other services based, not only the basic public cloud model. And the survey results show us how this is likely to unfold. Again, we've seen this anecdotally, but we think this survey really, for the first time, gives us a very clear picture of a very clear survey evidence of what's going to happen. So when we look inside the waves, wave 1 and wave 2, wave 1 of cloud adoption was really driven by what we call systems of engagement. Any of you that use mobile apps, apps on your smartphone to shop or bank or interact with companies to take care of service issues, you're using a system of engagement. There are lots of systems of engagement that are also web applications you use on your desktop. This was really the first big wave of adoption of cloud. There were a whole range of new applications that came into being that we all now take for granted as a way of doing our business and conducting our business with the enterprises that we work with. So it started on the web, moved then to mobile, and now is going to omni-channel. So you've got lots of enterprises that want to interact with you through whatever channel, and they want to coordinate those interactions. That's what that means. So that's in the green on the slide. Now, when organizations tackled these systems of engagement, they very quickly found that they had great opportunities to gather information about the customers that they were interacting with and about the situations those customers were in, and all kinds of information about the commercial context and so forth. And so there was a related emphasis on using technology to further the sales cycle and on analytics. So further the sales cycle was try to make it more efficient, find customers and interact with them much more efficiently, identify opportunities much more efficiently, and work those opportunities and close them much more efficiently than you could. And then on analytics, get smarter about your customers. Figure out what they really wanted, figure out what they really liked about what you were offering them, and so on. And these two additional opportunities both have played out into broader investments. With analytics, we started out with analytics that were very much focused on the customer interaction in situ, but then broadened to incorporate other business elements that we typically associate with business intelligence. And now we're moving into predictive analytics, really hot topic. Use information to determine what our customers are likely to do, are most likely to do. So there's a whole investment train that goes on, that follows that path. And then focus on sales brought us into a broader set of investments in customer relationship management, and really bridged from systems of engagement into actual systems of record. CRM systems, we hold data that customer records and data that is mission critical to us, and we want to store it reliably and securely, for many years, and manage it as such. And that sort of entree to systems of record that we can then see following a path through to certain financial management applications, certain applications that are systems of record that address the production of offers, products, etc., and on and on. So the second wave is going to be driven by continued investment systems of engagement, but the real new news, the real new investment is going to be massive investment in systems of insight and systems of record. So anybody who the conventional wisdom was systems of record would never go to public clouds. That's over. It's happening. Now, the survey tells us more. In addition, it tells us that when we asked clients what applications in those categories, systems of record, systems of insight, etc., were going to the cloud, you can see that when they reported out, it was all about the customer. The focal point of engagement, insight, and systems of record is customer operations, customer systems of record, and of course insight and engagement. You can see on this slide that financial management and BI and data warehousing also play into this, but they're more general categories, but they're related. They are sort of next logical steps from that emphasis on the customer, and I believe show that there is a natural path to encompass more and more of the systems of record and the analytics systems that we use over time. We've been at Forrester focused on customer on systems to find, win, serve, and retain customers for some time. So we weren't surprised by this, but a lot of people I think are going to be surprised to see the big emphasis on customers. But it makes sense. Apps to win, serve, and retain customers need to be very, very adaptable and very, very quick to deliver, and they need to change very rapidly. And these are characteristics that people have found in the public clouds, in public cloud platforms. The slide I'm presenting is something we use to describe this progression over a long, long period of time towards more and more responsive applications, more and more responsive software, and today, in the age of the customer, which we think started in 2010, cloud was a key tool for meeting this challenge. So that's why the emphasis on customers. Now let's take a look at some of the other findings that we think are really important here really important to speaking to where cloud is going. One way to think about delivering applications very quickly is that you can deliver them quickly if you sacrifice other attributes like security, like availability and reliability. But it turns out that no, we don't get to sacrifice anything here. Enterprises are looking to cloud to provide it all. They want security. They expect security. They expect reliability. They expect rapid application delivery and rapid evolution. And I think that this chart shows that, and it shows how it shows the priorities that people have. The first two responses here on the slide, and I've arranged them in order of the public cloud responses, really speak to fast delivery of applications. Ability to use a vendor's application services. That's just a way of saying reuse. I reuse a service the vendor provides to me for accessing Facebook or implementing a telephony telephony connection to my customers or a chat connection. I don't have to build it. It helps me get to an application faster. And then the second one also is second attribute here also speaks to scaling a whole portfolio and supporting a portfolio of applications very, very readily. But you can see then we go right into privacy, reliability, performance, and costs, which are, again, we don't get to sacrifice. So people are going to clouds for kind of an unprecedented combination, of these characteristics. Let's take a deeper look at systems of record and what the survey results tell us about systems of record being implemented in the cloud. One of the takeaways from this survey is that systems of record are already a big factor in the adoption of public clouds and cloud generally. This will come to a surprise for a lot of people because there's a sort of conventional wisdom that only systems of engagement are done in cloud. Systems of record are too sensitive. They're too they're too precious to be able to put into a public cloud. But folks, it's already happening, as you can see on the chart, the pie chart on the left of this slide. 38% have already 38% of the respondents had already deployed all three of the types of applications: engagement, record, and insight. And in that grouping, 34% of them are, systems of record account for 34% of the apps that they're putting into public clouds. This is really significant. This is not just the beginnings of something. It's already beginning to happen. And again, focused on customers. So then when we ask them, where are you going? Are you going to put more systems of record into the cloud? 89% said yes. Systems of insight, you can see, is just right behind that, 87%. So there's a lot of new systems of record and new systems of insight, obviously, that we're going to start seeing. That we're going to see a lot more of this going forward with public clouds. Now, one of the memes here in cloud, in the rise of cloud computing, is that the public clouds will never be secure enough, or never be performant enough, or never support compliance, that are necessary for for systems of record. And so those things would always live in private clouds. Well, obviously, there's a lot of systems of record that are going to public clouds, but private cloud is also something that is also on the radar and coming along very, very strongly. 92% of the folks in this survey said they are planning private internal clouds. That means they're implementing cloud-like environments in their own data centers. So that's obviously a huge number. It does speak to the fact that a lot of folks don't yet have private internal clouds, even if they want them. But they certainly plan to go there, and people typically tend to do private internal clouds to manage their most sensitive data. They just will always hold that data and the applications they use to manage that data close to the vest. And even as they move some systems of record into public clouds, you find in financial services and in particular, and healthcare and other really sensitive segments that handle really sensitive information, they'll be implementing private clouds. Now, here's the challenge of there's a desire to implement private clouds. It makes sense. You want to have a modern environment, a flexible environment for managing these very sensitive applications. But it's actually really difficult to do. It's been really difficult to implement private clouds. So there's two issues that we have to wrestle with here. One is that when you implement a private cloud, you're implementing a shared resource for a number of applications, and you get all kinds of demands from those applications group for new features, for upgrades to the platform software, updates to the services that are supplied, et cetera. And that means that your internal teams need to be very, very nimble. They need to be able to deliver changes very, very quickly. And today, most teams can't. They cannot deliver sort of cloud-level responsiveness in keeping up their internal platforms. So the chart on the left, the red segment of that circle, the 55%, are respondents who reported that their internal teams could deliver changes to their platforms in 3 months or more. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of them that are way more than 3 months in this collection. Well, 3 months is an eternity. You've got to be able to, in the cloud era, the 3 months or more is an eternity. You just have to do much better than that. 25% said they could deliver changes in 4 weeks or less. So now we're getting there. That's really good. That's particularly if you can do 2 weeks or so or a week, then you're really functioning well. And then 20% is in the middle. So you can see a lot of internal teams, they just aren't set up yet to be able to be responsive enough to manage the private internal clouds, and they're going to have to change that. They're going to have to up their game if they're going to be able to really play. And then we found that when we asked the respondents for the reasons that they hadn't implemented a private internal cloud, even if they wanted to, we found that they actually know their limitations pretty well. So the top limitation that people reported was, we can't manage it. We could put a private internal cloud in place, but we're not confident that we could manage it. So this is even beyond getting it implemented. This is just ongoing management. They recognize that they're just not set up for that. And then implementation is the next factor down. So is the next most common factor. They just don't have confidence that they could actually implement such a thing. And based on the research we've been doing for the last couple of years, these are really well-founded concerns because, again, we found that that private internal clouds have been very, very difficult for enterprises to implement. Just the anecdotal evidence that we've seen just says that, and it points to these factors: the ongoing management processes being inadequate, and implementation being really, really difficult. So there's a desire to implement private clouds, to modernize essentially the internal data center and provide a much more flexible facility. But there are challenges that we as a community need to overcome to actually implement that desire. So the short story here about what these results mean. First of all, I think they say that cloud computing is here to stay. I hope that's not controversial. I think the evidence that we've been seeing, the evidence in this survey says people are going to cloud. They see it as the next platform. They're just trying to figure out the sequence of apps they bring to the cloud and the balance of cloud services between what runs internally and what runs in public. But it's here to stay. We can see that cloud adoption is branching out from engagement applications into engagement and operations. That brings us into systems of record, and we think there's going to be a broad swath there, and the systems of insight going along with it. And then lastly, your internal, the most important thing to work on if you want to pursue a goal of implementing an internal private cloud is your tech management team's processes and the people, who they are, how they operate. They've got to raise their game. They've got to be a lot quicker and a lot more adaptive if they're going to expect to meet those goals. So with that, I'll say thank you. Here's my virtual business card. Love to hear from you about how this plays against your experience, and always interested in helping. And I'll turn it over to Jeff.